We have chart request today, Thursday, January 20th, 2022. Not a lot great going on unless you're a bear buying some puts. But I was just looking at crypto, and I think this is emblematic of what's going on right now with the rest of the equities market, in my opinion, especially the growthy names, the tech names. I can go through and we can find lots of charts today that did this right here. Went above the 9 EMA. Some even went above or challenged the 21 EMA to fail and still in downtrends. So overall, the market is not being kind to longs, and it's not the market's job to be kind to longs, but it's been easy for a while. And just a little bit of a warning that not every recovery is a V bottom out of um, everything we've done. I mean, if we could have thought that was a V, right? We could have thought that was a V, right? But no, what those are bear flag breakdowns. So here's one, right? Here's one, and I'm just being rough with it. So I would almost guarantee, as I've stated previously, that we're going to retest this 4,500 level on Bitcoin, and it's probably, as you can see, it's still rolling over from these indicators, the Stoke and the RSI and the EMAs. It's just continuing to go down, and I think we're probably going to see that in our tech names, our growth names. So we'll see how it goes. But I just thought Bitcoin was a really good, really good emblematic version of what's going on as a whole. So again, if Bitcoin gets down in here, this 3,900 range, I don't think there's much to stop it to go lower. Let's look at our volume profile, but I'm guessing it's going to agree with that thesis. Yeah, if we don't hold this, we're definitely going further down into the 30s. And if 38, 37.5 can't hold, we've got a lot of wood to be chopped here in the lower 30s. So hopefully that would be the buoy for Bitcoin. But we'll see. We'll see. As usual, below the weekly 21, we are not bullish. We're not bullish. So hopefully we can come out of this sooner than later, but you never know. Anyway, enough about Bitcoin, enough about that. Here, you wanted to see some of your charts that you requested, and I'll start with CVS. CVS has really been a lovely chart, and I like to scale all the way out. The monthlies if I can, and the weeklies, but if I draw a line here, that's roughly the lower channel. So this would be the bottom of the lower channel, and this would be the top of the upper channel. And this would be the midline between the two channels right here. So I just like to show you guys that. I do have a lot of lines on my charts, and they all mean something to me, but I tried to keep these as clean as possible to show you what I think's going on. Let's look at a weekly real quick. Already down 3% in the week for Walgreens, and if you bought here around 54, I think that's November, the fall drop of 2020, and then the COVID drop, or even when it finally bottomed in 2019, you're doing great in this name. And again, scaling out, this chart goes up and to the right, which I love to see. But that doesn't mean that there's not going to be fluctuation in price. As we can see, price is rolling over. Turn on the EMAs. We lost the 21 daily EMA today. RSI and stochastics rolling over as well. I would want to see if it can hold this 100 level, 100, 101 level. If it can, it may serve as a bounce point, but if not, I would probably be looking somewhere in here around the $98 mark. The next area would be down to about the $94 mark, and then the $89 mark. And if I scroll out and turn on the volume profile, I'm going to presume that that's going to be a pretty good estimate of what might happen. It comes even lower, so if it doesn't even hold this low upper 80s, expect lower 80s is what volume's telling me. And there is a little ledge here, sort of at that midway zone of 93, 94. Again, the TA, there's not a one size fits all. Everybody does things a little bit differently, and this is the way I do it. I'm not saying it's right, not saying it's wrong, not saying how you do it's right or wrong, but this is the way I do it. This is how I look at it. And it's worked well for me. But if this were to play out, I mean, you can already see what's happening there, right? So, not the most favorable current setup for CVS. I really liked it early last year. In this $60 area, I really liked it there. But if I were holding it, I might be looking to take some profits. If I were looking to get in, I'm not interested. I would be looking elsewhere. The next chart on the list, OLB. I had no idea what this was. I had to Google it. It's a miner, a Bitcoin miner, a cryptocurrency miner. They have some other things going on too, but the complete opposite of what I like about CVS. This is down and to the right instead of up and to the right. So I don't like messing with charts or messing with stocks that are there. But you asked me if I had a recent position, somewhere between 210 and 220, I would probably be looking to get out, especially if I started it recently. It could pop more. I don't know anything about the company. Stoke seems like it's wanting to bottom out a little bit, but I don't know enough about the company, but I'm not crazy about the technicals. Moderna, MRNA, position I started today. And I always say, if you're not going to buy the points on your chart, why even bother? So I like the potential that Moderna has. It has been in a house of pain. I'm trying to catch the knife here and bottom fish a little bit, but I think it's a pretty clear risk reward here, for me at least. I'll turn on the volume real quick, and we see that this area has been a good support area for a while, and I'm betting on 171. That's where I took some long shares there. I've got an alert at 162, but can absolutely pull into 150s and 140s. I'll be out before then if that's what happens. Volume is telling us that it could. But I'm planning for a bounce, so we'll see. If you see me tweet that I'm stopped out, well, you know why. SOFI, one of my larger positions in my portfolio. So I personally like SOFI for a long-term hold. I'm kind of jealous I didn't get in any more down in the 12s. Yeah, bounced right off like 1202. Yeah, it didn't even come down straight to 12. At 1202, it bounced. We had the bank charter news. It did break above the downtrend, and it did break above the 9 and the 21. And Stokes reversed, RSI's reversed, all going higher. But I will say my one area of caution is today almost 9% or about 9%. It sold off from its highs. Not that I'm putting too much weight into the 50 EMA, but they were able to sell it down significantly. What I don't want to see is it to do this. I do not want to see that. So we'll see. We'll see how the good news holds this, but not the behavior that I want to see. Hopefully it can stay above this $15 level. 1467 is kind of like my line of good to bad. Above 1467 is good, below is bad. Digital turbine apps. I was actually alerted about this, I think in 2019. Way back here, like, yeah, around this area. Man, what a run that's been on since then. Up like 1,200%. But if you've watched any of the other videos, I've mentioned the Batman. And sure enough, there's Batman. We'll see, but I would almost guarantee that we hit this 37 level, if not lower. So 37 is where I've got the box here, the red box. If we turn on our volume profile, it looks like, yeah, 37. If it doesn't hold 37, it's going back to the 20s. It's just as likely to fall into the 20s as it is. So, not a great look at the chart. I wish I had better news, but like so many other growth and tech names, it's just getting hammered right now. Next up, Twitter. I have no interest in Twitter until it reaches above $41. I know some people love Twitter. Some people love the product. Some people love the stock. I don't see it as being favorable currently. I mean, this is around where it opened up when it first started trading, and it's below that now. So if you've been in from the beginning, you've done nothing. If you bought in the teens, congratulations. If you bought in the 20s, congratulations. But there's really not a lot positive to say about the chart. It's below all the EMAs. It's below the 200 SMA. Just not a chart that I like to be involved with its current setup and structure. Turn on the volume. We are in a bit of a volume area that it could hold, but it could just as easy come down into the lower 30s or the 20s. So not a high conviction thing for me. Fortinet, FTNT, another just beautiful chart, completely up and to the right forever. Perfect channel. It just looks beautiful. But as we see, it's running into resistance. It's topping out. If this area can't hold, I would look at the 275 spot probably. It's below all the EMAs, the 200 SMA. All tech is oversold, right? But again, oversold can stay oversold, just like overbought can stay overbought. I might be interested at 276. see how it does around that 290 area. But if this 305 doesn't hold, and I'm not optimistic that it will, you got to look at spots lower, and I think those would be spots to look at around 290 and around 275, 276. What does the volume tell us? It's got some pretty good support where it's at, but after that it's really thin. So, if it doesn't hold 290, watch out below. It could easily want to come down even more, and I hate to see what that is. It could come down another 30%. Jeez. I don't want to put that out there in the world. It's pretty thin once you get below 290. DraftKings, boy, fall from grace. But really, look at the chart. If you can't see what went on, it's perfect. It's a perfect head and shoulders, just perfect. This was the downtrend that it's been fighting, this black line, but nothing there. If it didn't hold 27, and it didn't, next shot will be the teens, and I know that's going to be a painful number to a lot of people, but I just don't see where it's going to get any kind of support. It's oversold. It could bounce anywhere. Or it could bounce for a trade, but doesn't look good. There's plenty of momentum to the downside. PSA, another really good chart. Scroll out to the monthly real quick. This would be the midline of the lower channel. So if I took this and measured down, that would roughly be the midline of the lower channel. So just looking at what's going on, once again, like so many others, rolling over, right? And look out below. I put this box in before I actually looked at the volume. 316 down to about 310 would be where I would really want to lay into it. 312, 310, 312, something like that, 310. But I would expect somewhere in this area for it to catch. The 50's coming up. The 120 is right at that midline. So if 330 holds, might be a good spot to look to get in. That's right in the middle of the box. But if not, lower 300s for sure, in my opinion. Nike, another great chart. Up and to the right, up and to the right. That's what we want to buy, is up and to the right. Up and to the right forever. This is actually a middle channel. I could put one on top right here that's almost perfect, and one on bottom here that's almost perfect. So this would be the top of the upper channel, this would be the top of the lower channel, and this has been the middle channel that it's been in forever. Took a line off the highs to serve as support and resistance. So that's what the pink line is. If we look at the gap, and I'm not a big believer in gaps, but usually when something gets enough momentum and gets into a gap on the downside, it's going to finish closing that gap. So I would look at 134, probably lower actually, like 128, 129. That's where that support resistance was from the highs over here. Let's flash on the volume profile. Yeah, it says that gap area should hold as something around 134, and it ends right below it, so 129, 130. That's probably where I would be looking, and I may get interested in the name, but it has a classic double top going on as well, as you can see right here. Right? It overshot it a little bit, but for the most part, double top. Not as clean as Batman as I would like to have seen to call him a Batman. I'd want to see this sort of flatten out a little bit more to have those two double tops, so something like that. But anyway, those are the charts. But be careful out there. Don't get overextended. Don't get over leveraged. Don't spend all your cash in one place. If it were me, that's the way I would look at it. We're in a turbulent market currently, so be safe. Be careful. Thanks for watching. Daddy loves you. Have a great night.